Welcome to We the People, a new birth of freedom. So glad you stopped by. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your enemies, and see if you can get them to subscribe and leave your comments below. Sorry I'm a little raspy today. I've been fighting a head cold and settled down in my chest a little bit, so just excuse me for that. But I was just thinking about something. The last video I posted was talking about freedom and liberty and the wonderful sound that those words make in our ears. And then I was thinking about the mass shootings that take place in our nation as well as around the world. And of course, the politician solution is, well, let's just take all the guns away. Well, that's not even good common sense. You leave the people totally defenseless. That'd be like saying, let's take all the matches and the lighters and the ability to produce heat and flame and fire away from the people because, there are arsonists out there that abuse those things. And so, sorry about you're not going to be able to have campfires anymore because we're taking matches and lighters and all your flint and steel away because, you might be an arsonist. And so we can't take the chance and let you have those implements to have campfires and burn your trash or whatever because, there's arsons that take place every day in the United States. And so, sorry about your luck. Well, that doesn't solve anything. The criminal is a criminal because you don't follow laws. That's the reason he's a criminal. Seems like educated politicians are so ignorant of those simple, common, basic things that are right there in front of our face that they stumble over it. So they say, well, let's take all the guns away and that'll take care of the shootings. Well, if that's the case, then there shouldn't be any murders at all here in the United States at all. It's because there's been laws against murder for how long? There shouldn't be any robberies or theft taking place in this nation because how long have we had those laws on the books? And speaking along those lines, there shouldn't be any rape, child molestation, pedophilia, because, we've got laws on the books regarding those things, right? So they shouldn't exist at all. Should I continue? Or do you get the message? So, making laws to prohibit the purchase of certain firearms or taking all firearms away does not stop the criminal or the insane or those that have serious criminal intentions. That's why they're criminals, because they circumvent, ignore, spit on laws. You don't have to go to Harvard or Yale or some prestigious college to grasp that little tidbit of understanding. But nevertheless, let's take the guns away. Well, see, that's what politicians, just to use a parallel here, see, that's what politicians thought back in the days of slavery. There was a president that rose up by the name of, let's see if I can remember his name. Of course, you know his name, Abraham Lincoln. And he kept reading those words in the preamble to the what? To the Declaration of Independence. Isn't that strange? How many times you hear our current contemporary politicians quote those notable words? But he kept reading that all men are created equal. All men are created equal. And of course, he understood the language of his day that men simply meant gender neutral. It was just a language expression to speak of the population of both men and women, of mankind. It's called mankind, which includes womankind. It's just a language. because the seed comes from a man, not a woman. The egg comes from a woman. The seed comes from a man. So it's just the way the order is set up. It's that simple. When you say humankind, that includes both men and women. Mankind includes both men and women. All men are created equal. That includes both men and women. It's not just talking about men. Our founding fathers were not stupid. They had wives, they had children, so they realized that they wanted their wives and their children to have equal opportunity to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Of course, in the infant stage of the founding of the United States of America, the North American continent, they ran into a huge wall of slavery. And some were opposed to slavery, some wanted to keep it going. So what were they going to do with all of these slaves? Well, if you take a quick look at history, most of the founding fathers were against slavery, but they didn't know what to do with them because they knew there had to be a law legislated, an entire consensus of all the 13 colonies that would legislate against slavery in order for the people to be free. So, that finally took place when Abraham Lincoln became president, and his contemporaries realized what the full power, the impact, and full power of the words and the truth of all men, all mankind, all humankind are created equal. Each person born, man, woman, has equal access to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So they realized that they had to extract the full impact, the full power, the full truth of those notable words. And so, finally, slavery and involuntary servitude was abolished. Likewise, it's going to take the same type of men and women of vision in this day and time to extract the impact, the full impact, power, and truth of the Second Amendment. Anybody with common sense and historical knowledge knows that a well-regulated militia is simply a well-trained and organized citizenry. That's what they are. They're private citizens. They're not part of any government entity. They're not part of an army, a navy, the governmental national guard. No, they're private citizens. And our founding fathers were intelligent enough and had a high enough IQ to realize that in order for each state to remain free against governmental intrusion, foreign intrusion, and even domestic intrusion, that its citizens had to be armed and trained and disciplined to keep their states free. Read those words, being necessary for the security of a free state. And how can a state be free when every time we turn around, schools are being attacked, individuals are being assaulted, mass shootings take place? Why? Because most of our citizens are defenseless. That's not a free state. A defenseless citizenry is not a free people, nor does it represent a free state. It's just that simple. But if everybody knew that if you go into a Walmart, if you go into a restaurant, if you go into a school, there's going to be armed citizens there. Come on in, try to attack our children, try to attack our citizens, we will kill you. It's just that simple. You see, American patriotism, a well-disciplined militia, liberty has many characteristics. Let me just name a few of them. One of the characteristics is love, compassion, integrity, accountability, responsibility, empathy, sympathy. And let me mention another one. It's also the ability to be dangerous when the situation requires it. Had our founding fathers not had the ability to be dangerous in the face of an attack on liberty, we wouldn't be having this this land that we have so enjoyed, we wouldn't be sitting here, I wouldn't be making this video, we wouldn't be living in this land that we have so enjoyed in our lifetime. But not only were they loving people, compassionate people, empathetic people, not only were they people of accountability and responsibility, they were also capable of being dangerous in the face of an assault. I'm sorry, I know that doesn't sit well with many individuals out there, but I guarantee you, if someone, or you come upon a scene where someone's attacking your children, or your spouse, or your family member, you're going to find out that that circumstance will activate something inside you, and you can become very dangerous. If you don't have a gun, you may pick up a bottle, a pipe, a fire extinguisher, a rock, a stick, a chair, whatever, and you're going to try to destroy that person that's trying to destroy your flesh and blood. It's in us. It's innate. It's intrinsic. We're made to defend ourselves. It's just that simple. This yo-yo down there that's talking about he's going to take our AR-15s and our AK-47s. Yeah, right. Okay. He hasn't got the brain that God gave a billy goat. I would like to see his reaction if he come home and someone is molesting his wife or children. What's he going to say? Now look, I'm a law-abiding, loving politician, and I wish you wouldn't do that. Is there something? Can I get you something to drink? Can I get you something to eat? Have you had a good night's sleep? Because I'm a law-abiding, loving, liberal politician. No. Something deep inside of him is going to raise up. He's going to attack that individual. Because, in a split second, you don't always have time to call the cops. So what are you going to do? Say, hey, could you hold your activity here for a minute? I know you're raping my little daughter and you're molesting my little son, but could you hold up your activity for a minute while I call the cops? It's not going to happen, people. Any of you that have a sound mind, that have integrity, that have that intrinsic ability of self-preservation, you walk in on a situation like that, it's not going to be 911. It's going to be 357. It's going to be 44. It's going to be 38 special. It might be an AK-47. It might be a shotgun. It might be a baseball bat. But something is going to kick in, and you're not going to say, hey, wait a minute while I call the cops. No. You're going to attack that individual with all you've got. I am. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could call the cops, but not every situation warrants the time frame to call the police. Yes, they're necessary. I was a cop for over 20 years. Yes, it's a necessary force out there, just like the military is a necessary force, just like the fire departments are a necessary entity out there, but there's not always time to call. Sometimes you got to grab the fire extinguisher yourself. Sometimes you got to grab the baking soda yourself or something to smother out the fire because they can't get there in time. Sometimes you've got to grab the weapon that the Second Amendment gives you the right, or tells you, I should say, tells you the right to defend yourself. And you've got to act accordingly. Well, anyway, those have been my thoughts. So it's going to take a people to raise up and extract the full power and truth of the Second Amendment. It's for us, the citizens, to realize that we have the right, according to the laws of nature and nature's God, not political influence, not political legislation. Those things are for prosecution, to prosecute the criminals, not take law-abiding citizens' defense weapons away to keep them free, safe, and in domestic peace and prosperity, being necessary for the security of a free state. First of all, the people have to be free to defend in order for that state to be free. Consider these things. Leave me some comments. Talk to me. Ask me questions. Debate me. I'm willing to debate anyone, any place, any time. From the most insignificant blue collar right on up to the President of the United States. Anytime, any place, any politician. Until then, be a true American, and God bless.